Hey guys, it's now time for the breakdown of Season 2, Episode 2 of the Juvi to Adult series. In this breakdown, we're going to go through all the fights. I'm going to be playing them back from the replay tool with the name tags and health bars on, so that we can see how much damage every dinosaur is doing. This will also tell us how old each dinosaur is and how much health each dinosaur had at the end of the fight. After that, I'm going to be answering some of the questions you guys have asked me in the comment section of the actual video. If that sounds good for everybody, let's go. Alright, so aside from the Struthi fight, which I can't show in this breakdown because I wasn't recording with the replay tool for some unknown reason. I really don't know why it wasn't recording it. I'm pretty sure I would have pressed the key to record. Maybe it didn't register. I don't know. So, skipping to the next fight right now. I was a Juvi, and I was in Ocean Pillars. Anyways, so as I'm questing, I think I was looking for turtle shells or something like that. I come around the corner here, and I kind of saw something come here and sit down. I couldn't identify what it was at the time, and if you guys watch the video, you'll hear me say like I see something, but I can't tell what it is. So we're gonna start it here. We're gonna have name tags on, and I'll be commenting and talking as things are happening. As you can see, it is a adolescent Meg, and I was a Juvi Pycno. So let's go. The Meg sat down, and then I just kept going around the rock until eventually I was like, yeah, no, this makes me uncomfortable. I'm just gonna go. So now the Meg is deciding, okay, it's time. Probably has enough stam now. I was telling myself, okay, this is not good. I better get the hell out of Dodge, get out of here. And as you can see, I'm trying to get over this little ledge there, and it's not working. I wasted a ton of stam trying to get over this thing. And then here, it's even lower. There's no way. I'm pretty sure. Actually, I'm gonna back it up a little bit here. Watch this. I stopped it. Watch how my feet are higher than this here. Anyways. I'm definitely jumping higher than the height of this thing. Look at my feet. But it's like there's an invisible wall here. Anyways, this visually leads me to believe that I can jump on top of this thing. But the game is deciding, nope, this is actually higher than it looks. Look, my feet are above it. But nope, this is actually higher than it looks. It's not letting me. So I was very frustrated. I wasted a ton of stam trying to get over this. Let's leave it to play now. So now here I come across the Meg for the first time. The Meg decides to turn around and follow me. Now here's my first mistake right here. Instead of turning right and going that way, I turned left. But here I'm stuck again. My only escape from this place is to go in the water. Now I know I can't swim to safety, so I know I'm stuck here. I think I can't escape. I think I'm forced to fight because I think I'm stuck. And I will die very soon. Yeah, so obviously face tanking was not an option. Plus, I gave him a bunch of free bites where I was not trading with them. What I actually thought of doing while rewatching the video is, you know, run all the way to here and then run all the way back to there and just go back and forth like this repeatedly until the Meg runs out of stam. Yeah, sure. He would probably get a few bites here and there as we cross paths. But I'm pretty sure I'm faster than the Meg. If not, then we were probably very close to the same speed. Eventually, the Meg runs out of stam. But I don't, because I had way more stam than the Meg. It's just something I could have tried. That doesn't mean it's a guaranteed win if I do this. It's just something I could have tried. When I rewatch footage from fights like that, especially when I lose, I always ask myself, what could I have done different to change the outcome? And this is something I could have tried to change the outcome. That doesn't mean it's gonna work. That doesn't mean it's the solution for sure. It's just something I could have tried, because obviously what I did try was not working. Yeah. So anyways, let's move on to the next one. All right, so here, I wish I had more of the footage, but I started recording pretty much as it was starting to happen. I missed out a little bit of the beginning, so you guys were missing a little bit of the context in the video. But you know, through the chat bubbles and the interactions between myself and the raptor, I kind of helped understand what had happened. Part of it was humor, obviously, but there was a lot of truth in the things that were said using these chat bubbles. So what actually happened is I came here, I arrived to the pond first, and then I remembered some of you guys, some of my regular viewers, mentioned that there were frogs at Ripple Beach at the pond. It's actually referred to as a frog pond or whatever. And then I didn't even know. I've never seen a frog. And then that's when I was told they're at Ripple Beach in the frog pond. And I was told you have to dig it out from the critter nest. So when I arrived here, I was like, oh, that's a good opportunity for me to look at those frogs. So I dig out the frog. Frog starts running that way, and then I spot a raptor coming. The raptor spots the frog and goes straight towards it and kills it. I was starting to run after the frog, but when I spotted the raptor, I ran the other way. The raptor, as you can see, it's holding, well, I mean, this is a visual glitch, obviously, but it's holding a piece of meat from the frog in its mouth, and then it's running in my direction. And I knew the entire time that this raptor was probably trying to bring me some food. But I was annoyed at it because I dug out the frog just to look at it. I wasn't even hungry. That's where the whole thing about, like, you killed my frog and then you try to feed it to me, like, what's wrong with you? That all the chat bubbles in the video, if you haven't seen the video, please, I mean, this breakdown means nothing to you unless you watch the video. So I'm gonna let it play out. As you can see, it's just trying to get to me. It's not trying to bite me. It's not trying to hurt me. It's just trying to get to me, probably hoping that I stop so it can feed me, but I'm tail slapping it. And I caught it a few times. Look, its HP is not full anymore. It's still not attacking me. But it's not leaving me alone. It's just not taking the hint. We both have crazy amounts of stam. The raptor has a crazy amount of stam. Probably not as much as the Pycno. I think it stopped there, maybe to rest a little bit, and then it turns around because it saw me going around the lake, and then it was like, oh, catch him the other way. Me, I'm starting to get really annoyed at that point. And now there's another raptor coming. A Latin. That's where I bit the air. And that's where he got annoyed. And he was like, oh yeah, you want to start biting? That's how it feels to bite. Boom. I didn't hurt it much, but that was not a good charge. So then I'm like, okay, let's go back to running and try to tail slap. The raptor chose not to follow. The other one started attacking me, but I feel like the red one probably told it to leave me alone. And then I was like, you know what? That's for my frog. Boom. And then I decided, okay, now I'm leaving. Now I'm happy. The raptors never followed. But, you know, few tail slaps, few bites, 2 charges on this one. And that's where I got it. Anyway, now you guys understand the whole context. You have the whole story. That is what happened and why. Let's move on to the next one. All right, so for this one, I was in Salt Flats. I was just doing some quests, and then an Allosaurus came and saw me. It was an adult Allosaurus. I'm just an adolescent. And you'll see during the fight, I'll talk about it after the fight, but you'll see me do several mistakes during that fight. I'm just questing. The Allo spots me and decides to come for me. He was very silent. I couldn't hear it. When I started to hear it, that's when I turned around and saw him. And then I was like, okay, he's coming for me for sure. I'm gonna have to fight. I didn't have a tail attack at this point. And then that was the very first time that I used my knockback. I can't remember the name of it. But the headbutt that I was using. Again, use it again. I have no idea what it's doing. Aside from the knockback, I don't know how much damage it's dealing at this point. I'm just testing it for the first time. Knowing what I know now, I would have did that fight way differently. Let's pause this. Now look at the amount of HP this Allo has. And this is after I did a terrible job at fighting this Allo. So I took out all of that HP doing a horrendous job of fighting back. If I had my tail attack, I could have punished him every time he came for because he was tail riding me a lot. So I could have punished him every time he came to bite me in the back. I could have punished him. Also, one other big mistake I did is, and that was pointed out by someone in the comments actually. I thought I had armored tail, but I didn't. I unlocked it, but I never equipped it. So I basically was missing an ability completely. So I couldn't punish him for coming, and then I was taking full damage as he was coming and tail riding me. The other thing is I used my knockback ability way too much, but in my defense, this was my first time using it. I had no idea what kind of damage it did. I thought for sure it was going to deal some damage on top of the knockback. Knowing what I know now, I would not have used it a single time. I would have just used my bite. That was my first time testing this ability. That was my first time fighting an Allo at that size. But look at the amount of damage I did to it. So I am 100% sure, 100%, no doubt in my mind, I could have killed that Allo if I knew how to fight him. Now I know how to fight him. If I was able to do this fight again, 100% I win. Moving on. All right, so this next fight is the first fight that I'm actually proud of, and it was the fight against the Saros. As I approached the water, I heard a croc, and so I went up to investigate where the sound was coming from, and then I found them. They were here, but at first I thought it was just one croc. I had no idea there were more than one, but for some unknown reason, I never understood why. The second croc didn't attack me. It just moved on. And then anyway, I ended up winning. But let's watch it. You guys will see me arrive from that way. At that point, everybody's a sub-adult. The 2 crocs were sub-adults. I was a sub-adult. I think I had just reached sub-adult too. So at that point, I'm like, okay, so he wants to fight. Let's give him what he wants. I was actually excited. I wanted the action. But then, you know, when I saw that there were two, I was like, oh, maybe it's not such a good idea. I thought I'd dance with them a little bit. And of course, typical Krawll fashion, I ram into a tree. Typical Krawll move right there. Boom. Damaged it a little bit, but not much. I think a croc has a higher combat weight, but I mean, I don't know. I've never seen the stats. I can't just throw assumptions like that in the air. So I'm using the very common and standard strategy with the Pycno. I keep my distance until my charge is available, and then I choose the right moment and I just charge at it. So it's trying to drain my stamina, but I'm not letting it. And you know, rewatching that footage while I was editing my video, I realized I could have been way more aggressive with this croc. Just bait his stam drain. Just bait it, and then once I bait it, I could just charge. That's what I could charge, or bite him. I played it safe. It was my first time fighting a croc as a Pycno, but you know, as always, if I'm rewatching a fight, then I realize what I did wrong. Well, I definitely could have been way more aggressive. You see, this time I baited it and then I charged in, but I could have done that way more. And again, I don't know why his friend decided not to help him. Maybe his friend just knew how this was gonna end. Or maybe he wanted to protect the younger one, because there were 3 of them. So at the end of this fight, I gave him a GG. He gave me a GG as well. But yeah, so that's how it ended. That was my first time winning a fight, like really winning a fight after starting my Pycno. So I was quite happy with this one. This was a huge morale boost. Let's move on. All right, so this is the one where in Grand Plains, when I arrived, it just like, it was super crowded. There were a lot of birds. There were some megs. There were some aculos. There were like a crap load of things. And then I also encountered an allo, and he was passive with me, but he got attacked by these birds, and by the time I realized what was going on, it was already too late. It was already almost dead. So I came in wanting to, you know, check things out, and then as soon as I approached, the birds turned their attention onto me and started attacking me. There's not much to say about this one. I'm just gonna start playing it right now. Actually, this bird is about to die right now. It gets attacked 2 pecks and it dies, I think. Yeah. So I arrive here, I look at what died, and then I confirm, okay, it's the allo, and then this bird decides to come for me. These were obviously KOSers. They just wanted to kill everything. So I'm like, you know what? He wants to fight. I'll just charge him. And then that's when I realized, oh my god, this thing's keeping up with me. How is it as fast as I am? And then I see the other ones coming, so I mean, I'm trying to get away. Okay, so right there, hang on. Right there, what happened is I turn around and then I use my knockback ability. Big mistake. So that knockback effect, horn swipe, whatever it is, it gives me a 4-second cooldown for my bite. So I can't bite immediately after, which sucks. It's really bad. So I horn swipe it, and then I go in to try and bite it right away. So I'm right there dealing no damage at all and then taking in some pecks. Yeah, looking back on it, it's just like not my best moment. So anyway, I'm gonna let it keep playing, but this is the only significant thing that I can talk about was this moment here, and I just took free damage for 4 seconds. Then very soon I'm just gonna realize, okay, it's actually, I think they're faster than me. Anyway, I don't know for sure. Maybe we're the same speed online. But yeah, that's pretty much where I realize if I don't charge out of there, I'm dead. And then the server was ticking down. The server was about to reset. Oh, that was a lag. That's when I charged out of there. The server was ticking down. It was about to reset, so I think they just decided, you know what? Let's just go find a spot to log out. So yeah, that was this fight. Let's move on to the next one. All right, so this is the fight against the Stego. Oh, look, it's a sub-adult. I didn't even know. That's my first time with the name tags in here. So I'm a sub-adult myself. The Stego is a sub-adult, and I'm definitely looking forward to that fight. It's a 1v1, and I'm super excited for it. I did quite a few mistakes while engaging with the Stego. Anyways, let's just let it play. So obviously I'm trying to avoid the tail. I don't want to be hit by the tail. I want to try and and this is so annoying. And right there, that, I feel like I shouldn't have been hit by that tail. I hit the head with my knockback. I knock it back a little bit, but he swung his tail and it still hit me. I mean, okay, like, the game obviously does not want the Pycno to have any kind of chance against a Stego. If I attack it from the front, then his tail can still hit me. I think it's a lost cause, right? I feel like I should not have been hit because I hit it from the front, but the game decided otherwise. So now looking back on it, I don't think a Pycno solo has a chance against a Stego of the same age or bigger. But who knows? Maybe a better player can prove me wrong. But after having seen this, I don't think it's possible. And I'm just gonna replay that because I didn't get a good angle there. I'm gonna replay it in slow motion there. I'm facing it. Boom. And then I still get hit. I approached it from the front and I started attacking it. By the time my hit went off, the Stego had already managed to turn enough to be able to hit me. So I guess skill is irrelevant in this match. Right now I'm just trying to find a way to attack it from the front, and I'm just going around him, running around him, trying to find a crack in the armor, I guess, trying to get it to not show me his tail. But obviously it's a Stego, it's not gonna not show me its tail. And then I realized the lambios are there. At first I think it's just one. I don't see the other one just yet, sorry. So I let him pass. I go around the trees. And then I'm like, oh, it's two lambios. Crap. I better get out of here. I don't stand a chance. So at this point, I'm just trying to escape. I have no intention to try and fight at this point. Here, all I see are walls all around me. I'm like, okay, I need to turn around. Let's go back. And then boom, I just hit that stump. That stump just ruined my charge completely. Now I realize I can't go down that way, so I'm coming back down towards the Stego. Now I realize the Stego's there, and I'm like, crap. But then here I managed to escape. So yeah, things that I've learned here is that it's very, very, very difficult to fight a Stego as a Pycno, at least as a solo Pycno. I think the only way to beat a Stego would be to have 2 Pycnos at least. And the Lambios definitely ruined what could have been an interesting 1v1. Let's move on. All right, so this fight, it happened pretty much right after that Stego fight. So I walked all the way to Grand Plains. I arrived here and I was getting quite hungry, so I spotted that bird questing. I was like, if he gives me a shot, I'm taking it. Now, there's nothing big going on here. It's not really a fight. It's more of a hunt, a failed hunt, but I want to show you how much HP that bird had at the very end. I got so close, but I want you guys to see it. So I see the bird. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna try. I didn't really expect to be able to kill it. I thought if he flies away, it's a fail, and that's the end of it. But then I followed it for a while, and I noticed he wanted to land on that rock. So I was like, okay, let's give it another shot. I don't know why he went to land on that rock. I was right there back on him. Now, I missed a few bites, which if I didn't miss those bites, he was dead. But so I managed to get one last bite. Look at the amount of HP he's got left. He's got almost nothing. But yeah, if I didn't miss the bites that I missed, he was dead. Failed hunt, but look at how close. Look at how close. That's the only reason why I showed you guys this fight. Let's move on. All right, so this is a Pycno versus Pycno fight. We were in Savannah at the Ant Hills. This is the exact same Pycno that I had encountered just before I crossed the bridge into Savannah. That Pycno was exiting the Savannah, probably heading towards the home cave. I enter Savannah, start questing. Then I hear a Pycno calling behind me, and then when he spots me, he pretty much decides to engage. I kind of knew that was coming. Just looking at the way he was approaching me, I kind of knew he was coming, so I was kind of mentally ready for a fight. Anyways, I'm gonna let the fight play out, maybe comment a little bit as it's happening, and then comment a little bit more at the end of the fight. At this point, I'm ready for a fight, but I'm thinking, like, if he doesn't want to fight, that's fine. If he wants to fight, that's fine. Now, I do believe... Hang on, I forgot. Yeah, so my charge hit him harder than his. So I think I hit him at an angle, and then he kind of like just rubbed against me. So, and I noticed also I pushed him back. He didn't push me back. Anyways, let's rewind a little bit. Yeah, you can see I did damage. He didn't really do any damage. But then again, I use my horn swipe, which is useless. I need to stop using that in battle because it doesn't help. It doesn't deal enough damage. And again, yes, I just... Silly me, I charge into an anthill. I do that a lot. At that point, like, we're close. He has the edge, but we're close. And then again, if I use my bite, I would have done way more damage. I don't know why I charged there. That was like an epic fail. That's when I realized face tank, not gonna win that. I need to rethink. Again, I don't know why I did that. And here he finishes me off. Yeah, so what I can say about this fight is that I think that was the last fight where I tried to use my Hornswipe as a weapon. Don't get me wrong, Hornswipe does have a use case for it, but in a fight like that, no, it doesn't. It doesn't deal enough damage, but I guess at that point I was still unsure. I was still hoping that it was going to be useful. It was part of my build, so I was using it. In this fight, I still didn't have my tail attack back. I still hadn't put it back. I don't have my tail attack. I don't have armored tail. My tail slot is useless at this point, and I'm using Hornswipe way too much. It's useless. I don't need to be using that. But look at, I'm sub-adult. He's an adult. But I still managed to take him down that much. So this fight, similarly to the Alio fight, I firmly believe I could have won that fight if I played my cards right, which I didn't do. Moving on. All right, so this was the fight against the Suko and the baby Spinosaurus. This was the first fight on the Sunday. And so, like, I had just woken up not too long before that. I was fresh. My mind was sharp. I could remember all the mistakes I had made the day before. And I had a plan in mind. And I remember in the video, I had actually said, I need to attack first. I need that extra bit of damage. I need to play offensively instead of trying to play defensively. So, as you can see right now, it's a sub-adult female Suchomimus. I'm a sub-adult male Pycno. So it's sub versus sub, this fight right here. Anyway, I'm going to let it play out, comment as it goes, and talk about it a little bit more at the end. So right there you see I had said I was going to attack first. I wanted that extra bit of damage. I wanted to play offensively. And then here I also knew the Suko can't keep up with me, at least not for long distances, so just use my charge to my advantage. Obviously the Pycno can't face tank a Suko. There's no way the Pycno wins that fight, so I can't face tank it. My only chance is to wait till my charge is ready and get back in after it is ready. The Suko was a little bit late to react there. Obviously the Suko could have traded damage with me every time I charged, but it was struggling to time its attacks. This is typical Pycno gameplay that I'm doing here. Very typical Pycno gameplay. That's how a Pycno should be played against pretty much anything. The thing is, you try to do that against a bigger dinosaur, probably not gonna work. If the bigger dinosaur knows how to time its attacks and trades with you every time you charge at it, that method or that tactic won't work. Now here, I obviously did not know how much HP the Suko had left. If I knew, I probably would have kept going and just bite, you know, to try to finish it off. But I was playing it safe. But at this point, I don't think I had enough stamina for another charge. And the Suko had time to escape to the water. And as you can see now, I have my tail attack. Previous fights, I didn't have my tail attack, but after the last one, I think it was against the other Pycno, I had told myself there's no way I'm doing another fight without my tail attack. So I went back and re-equipped it before this one. So this fight right here is pretty much over, but then I do encounter that same Suko a little bit later, so let's fast forward. I just went back to questing, and obviously I was hungry. That's why I was hunting that Suko in the first place, so I went and got myself a critter. But whenever I start something, I like to finish what I start. Given the chance, I like to finish what I start. So right here, I spotted the Suko in the distance, and I was like, oh, here's my chance to finish what I started. Now that critter still looks like it's in my mouth, but I definitely swallowed it. It's just a replay tool glitch. So I knew it was going to try to go for the water. I don't know why the weather just changed all of a sudden. I knew the Suko was going to go for the water, so I tried to block its way, and it worked. And then right here, I was not going to do the same mistake. I knew it was damaged enough to where I could finish it if I just kept biting. So I had made the mistake of not finishing the job the first time. I was not going to do the same mistake there. And that was like the first fight where I got to finish my opponent. The other fight that I had won was against the Krawll, but I didn't get to finish it. And it was quite satisfying. But yeah, so that's all for this one. Let's move on. All right, this is the fight against the Allosaurus in Grand Plains. I had literally just turned into an adult just before this fight started. As I came into Grand Plains, I think I did one quest, and that quest turned me into an adult. And then that Alio came, like, I'm gonna say behind me, because I'm pretty sure I wasn't facing him when he approached. And then he was acting a little bit suspicious, so I decided to just go for him. So let's let it play out, comment as it goes. I think I heard him coming, or yeah, I heard him coming. And then he acts like he's friendly, but then he starts approaching me like way too much. And I'm sure a lot of you know this. When they do that, they act like they're friendly, but they start to approach you. Usually it's very suspicious behavior, and they actually want to try and get a free bite on you. So I wasn't gonna let that happen. Now, I knew I probably couldn't keep up with it. I didn't want to waste my stamp trying to chase it. So, at that point, I felt like I won the fight. He ran away, probably learned his lesson, won't come back. I was wrong, but that's what I thought at the time. Now, the Alio went to hide in these bushes over there, and you can see that in the video. His friend, Metri Allosaurus, comes to join him, and then the Alio comes up, bites the Metri for whatever reason. And then the Metri follows the Alio back to where I'm questing. And then from there, the fight continues. There's a lot of traffic. Now, for some reason, the Metri is the one that showed himself first to me. I can't see the Allio right now. The Allio knows I'm here, but I don't know it's there. I don't even know they're together at this point. And once again, I decided to start the fight because I want that bit of damage. I want that head start. And they were definitely acting suspicious. They definitely wanted the smoke. So, again, I decided to be offensive. To play offensively. Now, in a face tank battle, Metri versus Pycno, the Pycno wins. Except the Pycno can't heal itself and the Metri can, so gotta be careful. And this was such a big mistake on my part. Trying to charge the Metri right on the side of a ledge like that was big mistake. Big mistake. I hurt myself. I lost so much HP right there. But I'm not giving up. Never give up. Now, since they looked like they were giving up, I decided to try and chase them, maybe get a few more hits on them. The Allio wants nothing to do with me. I guess it just wants to heal. And then the Metri went to lay down over there, so I was like, yeah, okay. I'm just gonna walk away, and then for some reason, the other group in the Grand Plains decided to go for that Metri, so I was like, yep, that's my chance. I'm out of here. The Allio tried to follow, but the Allio is also having to deal with a Sarah now, so who knows if I would have survived if this group wouldn't show up, had not showed up. I don't know. Maybe I would have survived, maybe not. I just went to that little island on the other side of the river. That little patch of land right there under the rocks. Right here. And then I waited to heal there, and then I came back. So I'm going to be back for that other fight. Alright, so this fight happened after I healed myself. I came back to the Grand Plains because I had just turned into an adult. I wanted more action for the video. I had no idea if the Allio and Metri were still there. I just came back. And the first thing I noticed was an Aquilo coming towards me, and very similarly to the Allio and Metri, he would just stand there looking at me and not really doing anything. So again, I just decided to start the fight. So let's just let it play out. The Aquilo just stops there. He's looking at me. And I don't like that he's just looking at me like that. And right now you can see he's grouped up with this adolescent Allosaurus and these two little rats. But I had no idea at the time. I knew the rats were there. And while I was questing here, I saw the Allosaurus coming or approaching. But I just saw him questing. I have no idea he's grouped up with the Aquilo. No idea. Actually, you know what we're gonna do? Because this is replay tool, we can actually change the weather. This fight happened at night. Just more lighting. Now you can see better what's happening. I really just don't like that the Aquilo is just standing there. So I'm like, to hell with it. I'm going for him. And then the Allo comes. At that time, I have no idea if the Allo is going to be with me or against me. No idea. But then right there, he made his intentions clear. So I was like, oh, okay. You know what? I'm going to take out the Allo first because the Allo is going to be the easiest target for me. It's bigger, slower, easier to hit with my charge. So my mindset right there is take out the Allo, and then I only need to deal with the Aquilo after that. And I knew it was going to be easier to take out the Allo first. Then again, I was trying to use my Horn Swipe against the Aquilo. Twice I did, and it didn't work. So I don't know if it was because the Aquilo was halfway through a jump. I have no idea why the knockback didn't work on it. But still, I shouldn't have even tried to use the Horn Swipe. I should have tried to focus on dealing damage. Now the Allo's almost dead. I want to finish him. I want to finish him real bad. But he ended up killing himself. I don't know why he jumped down there, but he ends up jumping down that ledge. And he dies. Now the Aquilo is also so damaged right now that he's being very careful. I don't know how damaged he is. I had no idea at the time that he was so close to dead, but... So that's why I'm also playing it safe. I'm hoping he's gonna come for me, making it way easier for me to hit him. If I'm chasing him, it's way harder. Now it takes a while from here. Like, I chase the Aquilo, he runs away from me, and then from there it takes a little while for the fight to continue, so I might fast forward that part. Now here actually, I think, yeah, here I'm coming down because I want to eat from that Allo that I killed, and then that bird comes for me. I thought the bird was full HP. If I knew the bird was so damaged, I probably would have fought back way more than this. I'm actually hurting it more than it's hurting me right now, but I had no idea. While I was in the middle of the fight, I had no idea. But that would be why the bird decided to leave me alone. And I didn't know where he went. And oh my god. That part, I remember it. I remember playing, and the Aquilo got stuck in the rock and I missed that bite. That bite that probably would have killed it. That was a very, very tough one to swallow. Now you're gonna see me walking around with 2 big chunks of meat in my mouth because the replay tool won't let me. It won't despawn it. Actually 3. There you go. I'm a pig. So here I'm trying to chase the Aquilo, but Aquilo wants nothing to do with me at this point. He's given up. I can't follow him up there, and I'm just like, yeah, okay, this is over. But then the bird still has his sights on me, and I didn't know that at the time. I had no idea. And I thought in the video, I thought I did a pretty good job at highlighting that in a very dramatic and cinematic way. I thought I was really proud of that shot. Now the bird wants to keep going. Again, in my mind, the bird has way more HP than this. I have no idea how low he is. I'm just trying to hit it with my tail, but I keep missing. Every time I swing my tail, I miss, and then the bird always bites my tail. For some reason, he's not missing, and I'm missing, but I'm damaging him. So I was told that the Pycno has a deflect damage or reflect damage. I didn't even know that. Anyway, I tried, desperate attempt at running away. The bird just decides to keep coming at me. We're same HP, and I had no idea. Then I'm like, okay, let's bite. I bit him, then I bite him again, and he dies. I'm almost dead myself. It was a matter of like one more hit, I was dead, and then I run away. But as I'm running away, this Pycno just comes out of nowhere right here, and I'm like, crap, I can't go in the water now. That Pycno's gonna just finish me off right there. Anyway, at that point, I can't believe what just happened. I can't believe I survived. I fought off an Allo and a Kilo and a hat. If that's not a win, I've never seen a win in my life. But yeah, I'm going to stop rambling now and just move on to the last fight. All right, this is a fight against the Lambio. Now, at the time, I had no idea if he was an adult or sub-adult or whatever. And to be fair, I didn't attack this one first. He attacked me. I gave it a chance to keep walking. I won't lie, I was wanting to fight him. I wanted that 1v1. But I didn't attack first. I let him attack me. Well, I let him show that he wanted to fight before I attacked. I did feel like I was bigger than him, so I was like, maybe he's not a full adult, but it doesn't matter. He wants the smoke. That was a failed rodeo kick. Then after that, he decided to run away from me, so I think he's healing himself right now. Yeah. Now, I have no idea what made him think that this was a good idea. You don't hide next to a ledge like that. I think I did what any other Pycno would have done. Any Pycno in my position would have done the same thing. I'm pretty sure. But so originally I thought he's dead. So I turned around, but then I realized he's still alive. And at that time, I could not figure out how he survived, but I think the fact that he was sliding along this rock face, I think that's what saved him. I'm pretty sure he only survived because he was sliding. All right, that was the last fight. Now I'm gonna move on to the questions that you had for me, and then we're gonna end the video there. All right, so now I have two questions that were asked in the comments of the video. Here they are. The first one comes from Zbird, a longtime viewer and supporter of the channel. Zbird is also one of the few people to thank for the return of the chat bubbles, because she, along with a few other people, had been expressing how they missed the chat bubbles after watching episode 1 of season 2. Now here's the question. So the question is, what did I find most challenging about this episode that I haven't in past episodes? This is going to be a bit difficult to answer because Season 1 has 26 episodes and now Season 2 has 2 episodes. So I've been doing this for a while now, and Episode 2 contains pretty much all the best elements from past episodes. If I compare Episode 1 and Episode 2, in Episode 1, I was trying to make everything look cinematic, including the fights, and that has been the most challenging thing I ever had to do since I started the Juvi Adult series. With Episode 2, I wanted to still offer a cinematic experience, but unlike Episode 1, I didn't want the cinematics to be the only focus. With Episode 1, I think several of my viewers felt like there was something missing. There were several elements from Season 1 that I had put aside in Season 2 that left a void. So with Episode 2, I will say that the biggest challenge was to try and figure out the perfect balance between all those elements so that I could put them all together in a way that felt good. Made the video fun to watch while still offering an immersive and cinematic experience. In other words, how do I maintain the vibes I'm trying to offer from Season 2 while also bringing back what people want from Season 1? I would say that was the biggest challenge. Hopefully that answered your question. Alright, second question comes from Jack Dog, who's also a longtime viewer and good friend of the channel. The question is, which part of the creation process takes the longest and which part do you enjoy the most? I guess in order to answer this question properly, I'll have to break down all the different layers that go into the creation process. The first part is to match all the OBS files with the replay tool files and rename them so that I can navigate between OBS and replay tool files more easily during the edit. Once that is done, I went through all the OBS files in the editor and cut out all the bits I didn't want to keep in the video. Step 3 was to then go through all this again and decide where I want to insert replay tool footage. So I would go through each scene one by one, determine where I wanted to insert cinematic shots, and then I would launch the game, go into the replay tool and record the shots I wanted. I would usually capture multiple angles of the same shots and then load them all up in the editor and choose which one I wanted to use from there. Then I would delete the ones I didn't use. Step 3 was definitely the longest phase of the whole creation process. Each scene took a long time. Having to go back and forth in and out of the game to access the replay tool is a lot of work. Most days, I would only be able to complete 1 or 2 scenes, and the whole process took about 2 weeks to complete. Step 4 was to add the music, and this also takes a very long time because I spend a lot of time in music libraries listening to hundreds of songs until I find one that really speaks to me. Most of the time, I'll download 3 or 4 songs that I think might fit the scene, and then I try them out and choose the best one. Sometimes I go back to old songs that I've used in the past, but, lots of times I try them out and they just don't feel good, so I go searching for new ones. The music takes a long time, but wasn't quite as long as Step 3. Once the music is all done, all I have to do is rewatch the whole video from the beginning and optimize everything. That's where I boost the audio from my commenting or lower the music so that you guys can hear me fine. That's also where I enhance the lighting if needed for the darker shots, etc. That phase isn't too long and it's fairly easy, but of course, for a 2 hours long video, it takes a few hours to complete. And then the last step for this episode was to add the funny sound effects and the chat bubbles. So once again, for this, I have to rewatch the whole video and insert those chat bubbles and sound effects. Usually, the inspiration for them comes to me during the earlier phases, and I usually just take notes as they come. Most of the time, I already know where I want them, but a lot of times, I get new ideas while I'm doing it as well. It's still a lot of work to insert all of those chat bubbles in and then keyframe them to follow the character. But I'm gonna say that's my favorite part of it all. A lot of times, I'll even crack up at my own jokes once I put them on the screen and I get to rewatch them play out. I know this was a heck of a long answer, but I feel like it was the only way to really truly answer this question. Hopefully, you're satisfied with the answer. Now, the last thing I want to say is that there is one fight missing from the video, and I've only realized it later in the edit. That's the fight where I was followed by a Dasp in Hunter's Thicket and then got massacred by it twice. I was going to go back and add it in, but then I remembered I do have footage of another fight against a Dasp with my Pycno, which wasn't part of the episode. So instead of adding it here, I'm going to make a War Room episode, and I will include those fights and break them down for you all. So on that, I hope you guys are satisfied with this breakdown. I know it was a long one, but there was a lot to cover. So you guys leave your thoughts in the comments. All feedback is... Wait, hang on. Don't go yet. I almost forgot to share my thoughts on the Pycno, which is something I've done for every past episode of the Juvi to Adult series. So I'm going to start by stating the obvious. Yes, the Pycno took a really big hit with the charge attack nerf. The Pycno was never the tankiest, and its other attacks were never the scariest, but its charge attack was what made the Pycno stand out, and it is what made it feared by many other dinosaurs. Now, I had fought many Pycnos before I got to play one myself, and from my experience fighting them, I had made myself an idea on how to play it, and I was pretty much putting all my money on the charge attack. But when came the time to play it, the fact that I played it after a nerf, and I had not fought a single Pycno since the nerf, I had no idea what the Pycno's new capabilities were or how much damage I was going to do with my charge. What I had heard from various people was that a short distance charge didn't do much damage anymore, but the longer the charge, the more damage it would do. So this made me assume that this meant in order to reach max charge damage, I need to charge from a long distance. And I mean, that is accurate. However, I had thought that the max charge damage was going to be the same as it had always been before if I could reach the max range. I was wrong. I managed to hit some pretty decent range charges on occasion, and the damage was way lower than it was before the nerf, even at long range. So this means that the Pycno is simply much weaker than it used to be. It is still somewhat viable due to its almost infinite stamina pool, and you can still kite people that are trying to tail ride you if you have your tail attack, which personally I very much recommend now, since you can't really rely on your charge, or you can't only rely on your charge to deal all the damage like you could before. It used to be that you could charge something 3 or 4 times, and it was so messed up that you could just finish them with a few bites. But now, after 3 or 4 charge attacks, you're too low on stamina to use charge anymore, and your opponent, depending on what it is, probably still has too much HP to try and face tank it. The fact that you need more range to deal more damage means you use more stamina per charge, so that impacts how many charge attacks you can do in a fight as well. All that to say once again that the Pycno was hit hard by the charge attack nerf. Again, it's still viable, and a pack of Pycno is still very much dangerous, but my opinion is that if they're going to continue to make everything else stronger, then I think the Pycno is going to need a little bit more love from the devs, because in its current state it feels just a slight little bit underwhelming. At least if you compare it to other dinosaurs of the same tier. So let's take the Dasp for example. The Dasp was already pretty strong, and then they made it stronger. Dasp and Pycno used to be very close match before the changes. Then they made the Pycno weaker, and they made the Dasp stronger. So now the gap between the two is way too big. Anyways, my hopes is that the current situation with the Pycno might be the same as it was for the Rex for a while. The Rex started out really strong, then they nerfed it, and then it was in a really bad place for a couple months at least. Then they came back and readjusted it, and now the Rex feels decent. Now, maybe they'll do the same with the Pycno, but enough said for now. You guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments. All feedback is welcome, but please keep it respectful. You guys take care, and I will see you all soon. Bye-bye. Are you really? Are you really doing this?